It's 2 o'clock, and I'd like to call this special meeting of Lancaster County Council to order. Welcome everybody that's online watching this meeting today. In the chambers, I think we have the Lancaster News here today with us. With that, would you please rise and join Councilmember Larry Honeycutt as he leads us in our Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the invocation.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Gracious God, thank you for letting us live under this great flag. We honor this flag daily. God, we're in very bad shape in this country and around the world because of this virus. We need your help. We need it greatly. People are dying and people are very, very sick. So we ask your help, and we'll give you the thanks for any help you give us, Lord. Amen.
Let's move down to item number 4, our approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Have a motion from Ms. McGriff. Have a second from Mr. Mostella. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, raise your right hand. We have unanimous approval of our agenda today. We have citizens' comments, but no one signed up or no one emailed anything in. And let's move down to item number 6, our non-consent agenda. 6A, we have an emergency ordinance 2020-1654 regarding electronic meetings. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Have a motion from Mr. Blackman. I have in a second from Ms. McGriff. Mr. Willis.
Mr. Chairman, members of the council. Thank you, Allison. I have to remember to come over here to speak. This is an emergency ordinance 2020-1654 regarding electronic meetings. If you have any legal questions on this, I would note Daniel Plyler. I have him on the phone if we need him. This has been reviewed by our attorney. This does tie into the coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic, and basically this emergency ordinance would tie on to the previous one, and it authorizes electronic meetings, Zoom hardware, software platform. We're working with council. Would note that on future meetings we'll have it tied in. This meeting will be on YouTube, so we're still trying to make sure citizens can view what is going on with their government. Comments can be sent in electronically, either through the website or through email in advance of the meeting. But there will be some changes as we go through electronic meetings. And if I could take just a moment to go over those with y'all. Attendance. You can't just look around. You actually have to call attendance. And if the council member responds verbally, they are considered to be present for the meeting. All the council members and the staff, and if we have any special presenters, have to be in video and audio communications with one another. The public will have the ability to watch and listen, but one of the things we're not going to have is public audio input. Other locations have done this, and it's been a nightmare. People forget to mute their microphones, and you got dogs barking in the background, babies crying. You can't run a meeting that way. So just like here, once the meeting started, citizens are welcome to listen, but there's no public input from the folks in the audience. All votes will be roll call rather than show of hands, because it's hard to just, hey, I'm here on this video. So Sherry will be calling the roll, and we'll have roll call votes when we're doing this. Prior to any member speaking on the meeting, please identify yourself. It lets everybody know who is speaking and will certainly help with the record. Executive sessions are still allowed. We would just stop the video and audio output for executive session. And as mentioned previously, comments currently we allow them by email and website submission if somebody can't be here to the meeting. We'll encourage that, but we won't have in-person citizens' comments because we're meeting electronically. So we'll still have all of those, and our intent is, rather than in the past, we simply noted everybody got a copy and here's they are. Because we're doing this electronically, Allison and I will take turns reading, and we'll actually read the citizens' comments into the record. So we would still have that. Allison, any comments on anything you may have? And then I guess, Mr. Chairman, if I could have council's indulgence when we finish up this ordinance, Allison has an update for council on several things. But any questions on the ordinance itself?
Mr. Chairman, Larry Honeycutt, representing District 4. I received a phone call and an email from a gentleman that lives in our county. I sent it to everybody about he has some thoughts about what we're going to prove here today. I got a nice email from Mr. Willis today, as all of us did, I suppose. And would you take time to explain that so that we know that we're doing the right thing, Mr. Willis?
Yes, sir. Very briefly, and then I'll turn it over to Allison for additional comments, because one of the things that they're working through is public hearings, which is semi-related, but is the ordinance mentions council members and staff have to be in audio and visual contact with each other, but so would a presenter. If we have somebody coming up that is an actual presenter, then they have to be in audio and visual communications for that particular section. That was a question. We sent it back to the attorney to make sure we were on good legal ground. He advises we are. So said the term presenter covers those types of individuals. And Allison.
Yeah, I would just jump in to say that at the staff level, as we work through how we're going to get Zoom, YouTube Live, the website, all of that to integrate and also maintain public input and comment in our meetings. What we've identified is both we've got 2 forms on the county's website now where people can put in if they've got just a public citizen's comment for the beginning of the meeting. If there's a public hearing, they can also put in a comment that way, and we'll treat it the same as we would the citizen's comment. It'll be read to the council at the appropriate time. For a presenter, which would include someone who is an applicant perhaps for a planning case before Planning Commission or County Council, they would be connected to the meeting electronically. As the host of the meeting, the county staff who are running it would control their microphone, allow them to speak when it's time for them to speak, turn them off when their time is over. We could do the same for members of the public who are interested in speaking. And I'll just go ahead and say this. This is new for all of us. We've had the benefit of some other governments across the country having to deal with this before us. So we've learned some of the lessons they've learned the hard way. Hopefully we've been able to take them in, and we are still refining what our procedures will be at the staff level in terms of making these meetings operate. But we are very cognizant of the need to have citizens provide their comments and then also protect the meetings from anyone crashing into them with inappropriate content. So we're trying to balance that as we work through this.
Chair, if I could also note, the ordinance also, in addition to council, covers the various county boards and commissions.
Any questions for staff?
I just a comment saying, I think, after reading through it, I think we have addressed all the concerns that we are aware of. Like you said, Allison, this is new to all of us, and until we go live, we won't realize what problems we have. But I think and the procedures are pretty much as much as we can think of at this time.
And I'll just make a few comments. If this ordinance passes, the meeting, the 27th,
Yes, sir.
27th will definitely be an electronic meeting. Have not canceled the first meeting in May yet, but it's a good possibility we will. I don't think anything's pushing right now, so for the time being, I'm going to leave it there. We'll definitely cancel it within 2 weeks of when it was scheduled. The second meeting in May, we'll wait and see what's going on with the pandemic. But it's a good possibility it will be an electronic meeting. And all public hearings that are scheduled for the second meeting in May.
Yes, sir.
So we don't have any conflicts there. Was there anything else? Do we want to vote on this? Do you want to make a few more comments after the?
Allison, if I could, Allison, give council an update on where we stand operationally.
Okay, let us take care of our business.
One comment, somewhat related. I would like to see this put on our next agenda, that we adopt the model rules of parliamentary procedure. They put a lot of time into that document. It's been around quite a few years. It would simplify, I think, our ordinance. If there's reasons why we shouldn't, I would like to hear them next meeting, but if not, I'd like to see that.
I certainly don't mind. We'll kick it over to council, to the attorney, but I don't know we're going to be in a position at the next meeting, he's going to have everything, all of Chapter 2 revised and all of that. I think most of y'all know we're very thankful Stephanie's doing well, and but I'll talk to John, but we can start the process. Yes, sir.
I'll let him look at it and make sure.
That's fine.
That's one thing John had identified on his to-do list was an update to Chapter 2 anyway.
All right. Any more discussion?
I got one. Sherry, if we are on Zoom, are you going to give us an agenda? We won't need the whole packet on it, but will you have a written agenda for us to go by when we're on Zoom?
I'd already told her she'd have to do me. I am not electronically savvy like Allison
you won't be able to flip
I can't
back and
switch
forth.
back and forth. I got to have
Once we
paper
get on
if I'm
Zoom, we won't be able to get off and look at what's coming up next and all. So if we got this in front of us, we'll be good. So we won't need the whole packet, just this.
Oh, you want a hard copy of the?
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
we
We'll
could
have it
certainly
in front of
mail
us,
that or get that to you.
But
yes.
we didn't stay on Zoom.
Absolutely.
We'll certainly have that, because you can actually switch back and forth.
I'm not there yet.
Until 2 weeks ago, I didn't know my tablet had a microphone and camera till Allison told me. I'm not electronically savvy. We're going to have paper copies.
A lot of times when you switch back, it'll kick you out, then you got to sign in again, then you get behind. So it's better to have this, and you ain't got to flip back and forth. Just keep us in order. Thank you.
Okay, any more discussion, questions before we're ready to vote on our emergency ordinance 2020-1654? We got a motion from Mr. Blackman, a second from Ms. McGriff. All in favor, raise your right hand. We have unanimous approval of 5-0 today. And this time, I'd like to turn it over to Ms. Allison Alexander, our Deputy County Administrator.
Thank you, sir. Just very briefly, I wanted to thank you for the adoption of this ordinance. We've had a number of staff who have been working on not only being able to do the video broadcast that we're able to do today, but also working through how we would actually pull off these electronic meetings. So I would like to thank Catherine Hayes, Sherry Simpson, John McCain, and Billy Lloyd, and Devin Allman, because as you all know, we don't have a technology person who's dedicated to audio and visual or a PIO, so this is definitely a team effort to make this happen. Few changes here. The administration building, we are, as you are, currently closed to public access with a few exceptions of people who need to access the Register of Deeds or Assessor's office. The viewing public can't see the tables set up behind us that have plats all over them and documents that are getting prepared for a major scanning project that will begin next week. We'll have a vendor on site 24 hours a day for 8 days scanning in our documents. They'll then go back, clean up the digitized images, and then the public will be able to access all of our documents from our Register of Deeds and our property cards from our assessor's office within the next few months. So we're all very excited about that possibility. The other change that we're making here at the administration building is starting on Tuesday, The drive-through is going to be cash or check only. Because we're not open for walk-in traffic, the drive-throughs are seeing more volume. With the waiver of the credit card fees, either online or over the phone, we would like to remove those people from sitting in the drive-through line. We've had traffic backed up to the road several times over the past few weeks. It's just not safe. So by saying, if you're paying by a credit card, just give us the call or go online. It's not going to cost you anymore. It will save you time. It will keep you at home where you should be, and we'll still be able to make sure your vehicle taxes are paid. And then I'm sure you all saw Greg's article about the convenience centers. We know that's been a point of pain for a lot of people. The hours are changing next week. And as always, we are listening to the feedback from the residents that we get on those changes. Yesterday, I think Steve's kept you abreast of this, of the CAD update at 911. Okay. We're about 90% up to date at this point. There were some issues from the vendor's end yesterday. What should have been a 5-hour update was a 16-hour project for everyone. But the last I heard, 911 was entering the paper calls from yesterday. It was about 250, and they're inputting them into the new system. So things are slowly, the ripples are calming down there. So, and if there's anything else to add.
Allison's already covered some of the major initiatives, but we are also looking. This has taught us that we're going to have to look at making things more accessible without coming into the building. It makes it easier for the citizens, but I fear sometime this fall we're going to have a second wave, and we'll be back doing this again. So, with Allison and John heading up the initiative, because they're very electronically savvy, permanently broadcasting our council meetings, making them available over YouTube, Facebook, or whatever platform they decide is best. So we'll be looking at that. We are looking in procurement, moving to electronic bids, and everything will be done online. We're going to take a look, working with Barry, do we look at remote telephone reporting for non-serious crimes? Just how can we be a little smarter and make things accessible without having to have some of that face-to-face contact? Obviously, when you still need to have it, will be available, but trying to move in that direction. So you could certainly not the end of everything just as of this. You're going to see things over the next year or two continuing to move in that direction.
Thank you, Mr. Willis. Does anybody else have anything they want brought up at the next meeting or two?
Mr. Chairman, I would like for us to have a discussion of the nuisance ordinance in this county, along with the noise ordinance in this county. In my neighborhood, we have a horse farm. It's now turned into a pig farm. It's turned into a goat farm, and now it's a shooting range. And there must have been 200 or 300 rounds shot off down there, which sounded like it was in my backyard, but it's down at the end of the street. And we need to talk about that. If that is legal in our present ordinances, then we need to make a change, because you got over 500 houses that have to sit out there and listen to that. And we don't do that. We can do better than that. So I'd like to see us discuss that in either the next meeting or some meeting in the very near future, because it's a problem in my neighborhood and we need to get it corrected.
Okay, then our committees will not meet next month.
We have not made a recommendation to y'all for the May meetings. I think a lot of that's going to depend on where we stand with the governor's executive orders. But, certainly would anticipate having June committee meetings. I think by then, if things continue to progress, I shared with the chairman, we're starting to see a little bit of conflict on when the peak is going to come, depending on what models you're using. The latest guidance we have from DHEC is still first week of May. But now how rapidly it's going to ramp down, I don't know that anybody knows at this point. So some of it's going to kind of be playing 2 weeks ahead, and then we'll see how things go.
Let's do that, then, the possibility of having I&R meeting later on in May before our May 27th meeting, whatever that is. And you put that on the agenda. That'll go through your committee. Anything else? Thank Mr. Summers. So with that, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Have a motion for Mr. Honeycutt and a second for Mr. Blackman. All in favor, raise your right hand. We have unanimous approval. This meeting is now adjourned.
Alan, come in, sit over there. I want to talk to you.
One thing, just to let y'all know, obviously, we've been working with the newspaper. They're doing a great job helping get the information out. We're going to be partnering with the Chamber and in Gateway, Lancaster News, Kershaw News Era.